Hello, my name's Rob and welcome to Vision Auto Garage and episode 10 of my mid-engine rear-wheel drive Rover Metro project. This week I'm working on the rear subframe mounts. The original MGTF mounts are at the top of the subframe, but the Metro mount holes still exist lower down, and I'll be using these as they align better with the tubular structure. As usual, the first thing to do is to take some dimensions. A whiteboard is great for wasting time and also sketching out some thoughts. Progressing from the whiteboard to cardboard, templating these mounts is an iterative and creative process, and I'm very much working it out as I go. It really helps to physically see how things might fit, and with this card template I found I was more comfortable with it at an angle rather than square to the subframe. These mounts will need to be offset and asymmetrical, so with a general direction I move into 4mm steel and start with a 65mm square plate that will form the face of the mount. This non-woven abrasive disc is excellent at removing meal scale and cleaning surfaces prior to welding. You can find them via the link in this video's description. A 13mm hole is made in the centre of the square plate for the mount bolt. After getting through several brands of drill bits, I've found that these DeWalt Cobalt bits are excellent. They have a pilot tip, which means I can drill straight to 13mm. Check out the link in the description if you want to grab yourself a set. I've cut a 2-inch hole in this large plate which will allow it to fit at an angle on the 1.75-inch tube. It's oversized so that I can position it and get an accurate mark where it meets the square plate. The piece is cut down to a more reasonable size and shape. It's test fitted and then tacked in place. The process is then repeated for the other side. To complete the structure, a plate is added on the top, reinforcing the shape and adding rigidity. These are some seriously stout mounts. They will later be braced vertically into the roll cage. For the first time in 10 weeks, the car is self-supported on its new subframes and rolls freely. The next task for this week is to finish the cross bracing in the main hoop of the roll cage. I've already made the primary tube, which must be a continuous piece. Measurements are taken and a piece of tube is cut to length. The lower end is notched at 42 degrees to match the main tube. It's then held in place and marked for a 90-degree notch. After a little adjustment with a flap disc, the tube fits well. The top half tube is fabricated in the same way and again fettled down to a tight fit. The tubes are cleaned up with the non-woven disc and tacked in place, then fully welded. Next up is the dash bar and the steering column mount. Reinstalling the steering column and brackets ensures that the dash bar is correctly aligned. Throwing in a spare seat gives me an idea of positioning. This seat is far too low, but there's plenty of space, so I'm not concerned with changing the original steering column position. Congratulations if you noticed I installed the steering column shroud upside down. It's removed and refitted the correct way. I'm really pleased with today's work. The roll cage has come on loads and it's about 90% complete. I still need to add in a harness bar, which I can do when I've chosen a seat and got my ride height set. I also need to fabricate a bar that joins the rear struts together and ties into the rear of the subframe mounts. But that's all I've got time for today, so thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.